Let's go back to the phones, or let's go to the phones at all. And let's go to Luca in Flushing.
Hey, what's up, Michael? Love you.
Hey, Luca.
Hey, what's up, Michael? Love the show.
Thanks, man.
Love the new time slot for you. I actually called in a few times to you when you guys are still when you're still with Peter and Don, and I said, hey, I don't think the Mets should re-sign this guy. And you know, you came back with, well, we're going to find a 40 home run a year kind of player. But look, it doesn't matter at this point. I think you're right. I think Don actually made fun of me for saying the Mets are. This is kind of similar to the Cespedes situation where the Mets are kind of holding their ground, but you know they might cave into the Mets wanting to bring back a player they like, and I don't think they cave necessarily, but I don't think, like you said, it's a great situation for them, or it's even a good contract. I mean, it's too much, and we're kind of falling back into just signing players to sign them. I don't think it's a great contract, but at least it's for a year, and that's the way I have to look at it. At least it's just for a year.
That's the positive, Luca, and we thank you for the phone call. That's the positive. It's just for 1 year and you get out of it. Unless he gets hurt. Then it's for 2 years. But I think that this is a classic. They could say they don't, and I've said this before. You fall victim to what the fans desire and you get burned. You'll end up sitting with the fans. The Yankees are living that right now with DJ LeMahieu. Never should have given him a 6-year contract. Now these last 2 years are an absolute albatross. That's why they're actually considering playing him at third base, because they still owe him $15 million this year and $15 million next year. Albatross. Mets didn't want to sign Cespedes. The fans were clamoring for it. Okay, what'd you get? A wild boar. That's what you got. Never, listen, you have to respect the fans because they're your customer. Never let them build your team. And I'm going to tell you why a lot of fans are phony, too. I'm going to tell you why. If Pete Alonso doesn't hit that home run off of Devin Williams and the Mets get knocked out in that third game against Milwaukee, there wouldn't be that much of a clamor to bring back Pete Alonso. Now, I give Pete Alonso credit. That wasn't the only big hit he had in the postseason. He had 4 home runs in the postseason. Had a really good postseason and a really pedestrian regular season. Really pedestrian regular season. Let's go to Steve in the Jersey Shore. Steve. Guys, I don't have control of my board, so you're going to have to call that up. Hey, Steve.
Hey, what's up, brother? Real quick, I just want to say, as a Mets fan, you did a hell of a call in that London series with Torrens and the double play. I just want you to know.
Thank you, man.
Flowers.
That means a lot.
Yeah,
I know a lot of Met fans are upset hearing the Yankee announcer calling their game.
Yeah, I couldn't believe our guys weren't there, but man, like for a crazy ending like that, I was telling all my Yankee buddies how you killed it.
Thank you.
But dude, I could honestly, I could listen to you talk baseball all day. You said a lot of valid points with Alonso. We couldn't. Hey, he was an idiot for not signing that a couple of years ago. If he would have got his money, everyone would have been happy. Blah blah. But I think the Mets are more in the driver's seat now with this 2-year contract. Yeah, he has the 1-year option, but dude, we could not afford to lose Pete, especially with we don't really have like you were saying, the lineup is not like as powerful. Like under 60% to even make the playoffs. The pitching's iffy. You got we added Minter. But it's just not as promising as we added Soto, of course, that's amazing, but we cannot afford to lose Pete. But now he just needs to hope that he has a good season.
Here's the deal, though, Steve, and we thank you for the call. With the pressure of a contract hanging over him, he had one of his worst years last year. He's got that pressure of a contract hanging again, and he's going to go into a free agent market at 31. And again, let me break it down. The Mets won because it's just a 1-year deal. And Alonso won because he gets $30 million for this season. When no first baseman in baseball gets that kind of money. Not one. The best ones, not one. Vlad Guerrero, $28.5 million. Think about the difference in those two players. Let's go to Mike in the Bronx. Mike.
Michael, I am in the Bronx looking out my window at Walsh Library right now.
Oh, I love it.
I teach in the school right across the street. I've been listening to your show for over a decade, the other show and everything, and I feel like pretty consistently you've been down the middle, even though you're the Yankees guy. This is the most anti-Mets I've ever heard you. It's not a good look for you. You are so negative today. Everybody else is so happy about this deal and so positive. You're the first negative word I've heard about it.
But let's go over it, Mike, because you sound like a reasonable person. You can certainly disagree with me. They have a $328 million payroll, and their chances of making the playoffs are 57.5%. That's not money well spent, Mike. That's not being a hater. That's being reality. That's not me saying their percentage. That's Fangraphs.
Right, but what would you have them do with that money otherwise? Who's the other first baseman out there they should have spent that money on? Or the other player you think they should have spent that money on other than Pete? Because it's just Steve's money. It's not like, it's not. I don't care about the money part unless they could have spent it somewhere else. Where else should they have spent it?
Well, I mean, it's already gone already. I mean, you could have gone a number of ways. You could have signed Bregman to play third base and move Vientos to first. Now, one of the positives of bringing Pete back is that in his second year, Vientos doesn't have to learn a new position in spring training. I think that's great. So, again, there's a lot of positives. And one of the main positive for Met fans is who their owner is. He doesn't give a damn about the tax. He doesn't care about spending $328 million. He doesn't care about having a tax bill of $27 million. It wouldn't have had a tax bill if he didn't bring back Pete Alonso. He doesn't care. Met fans should revel in that after most of their lives having the Wilpons who did care because they had limited resources, especially after the Madoff situation. There are no limited resources with Steve Cohen, but I feel that we went down a path of the theatrics of Steve Cohen saying, I don't like the way this is going. It's the most difficult negotiation, worse than the Soto one, and then he plops $30 million in his lap. So you won by having him sign a one-year deal, but you lost by overpaying him. I'm sorry if it comes off with me as a troll, but, Mike, what you just said, I've been doing this for 23 years. I try to call it right down the middle. If I don't feel strongly about something, and I'm not saying the Mets made a mistake, I'm not saying they made a mistake because it made their lineup better. What I am saying, if you can't see it this way, I'm sorry if you can't see it this way, it's a massive overpay for 1 year for Pete Alonso. Massive. Met fans, you know what? Most people that do talk shows in this town, I'm sorry to tell you, most of them are Met fans. They're giddy Met fans. So they love the fact that they got what they've been clamoring for. Oh, yay! Steve Cohen, listen. We wanted Alonso back and we got him. That's what you're hearing. I'm calling it right down the middle. Again, most people on the air in this town are Met fans. Don't know why it works out that way, but that's the way it is. And a lot of the writers are Met fans. So they're going to celebrate the fact that the fans got their way. Let's see how it works out for you. Bold strategy, Cotton. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Ian in Nassau. What's up, Ian?
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Good. What's up, buddy?
Good. Listen, I understand where you're coming from about Pete. Is it an overpay for him? I agree. Yes, it's an overpay, but you can't. I understand you can only look at it as, hey, it's 1 year, 30 million, it's overpaid. There's such a broader picture of what it actually is.
All right, tell me what it is. I'm interested.
Options?
Tell me.
What are other options if we don't sign him? Right? You could say, all right, listen to you. Okay, Bregman. Well, if you're going to sign Bregman, it's the same deal as if you're overpaying for Pete at $30 million, you're going to hit the tax. We signed Bregman, we're going to hit the overtax as well. We had no other options. Pete was our option, and at the end of the day, it's a 1 year deal. It's a very expensive 1 year deal, but it is only effectively a 1 year deal, and that puts us in a position for the future. Because it's only 1 year, to be able to make moves. We didn't sign him for 3, 4, 5 years for a bunch of money and would have been a crazy overpay for a lot of years. It is a 1 year overpay. I completely agree with that. But at the end of the day, it's about the year, right? We're going to hit the luxury tax no matter what. We've hit it repeatedly. We have the richest owner in baseball. The luxury tax to us wasn't a thing. We're going to pay it repeatedly. But for 1 year, this was the move, in my opinion.
Well, I can't disagree with you, Ian. I think you're absolutely right. Because, as I said, I opened the show saying I'm kind of torn about this deal. The 1 year is a major win for the Mets, and the $30 million is a major win for Alonso. Now, he wanted multiple years. He fired his agent that negotiated a 7-year, $158 deal and hired Scott Boras because he thought there were more riches out there. I think he was dreaming of an Aaron Judge sort of contract. So he didn't get anything close to that, anything close to it. But for 1 year, he's the highest paid first baseman in baseball, second highest paid first baseman in the history of the majors. Massive overpay. But again, it's just for 1 year. But you're not getting out from under it. You're not getting out from under it. Because if he leaves after 1 year, you're going to sign Vlad Guerrero, and Vlad Guerrero wants $40 million a year, $50 million a year. Who knows what he's going to get? So you are forever over that luxury tax, forever. And there was talk about they wanted, Steve Cohen lost so much money the last couple of years, and last year was tough because he's paying half of the salary of Verlander and Scherzer and all that. That comes off the book, and you still have the second highest payroll in all of the game, but you only have a 57.5% chance of making the playoffs, according to FanGraphs. How did you spend the money well? How? You got Lindor, who's a star, flat-out star. You've got Alonso at 30. You've got Soto at 46, 47. Where's the big money being paid? How does it get to 328? But it does. You got Edwin Diaz making $20 million a year. But these other things sprinkled here and there, and Nimmo and Winker, somehow it's adding up to 328. Somehow that's not good enough to guarantee them a playoff spot, according to FanGraphs. You can't tell me that's money well spent. You can't. Atlanta has a much lower payroll. Their chance of making the playoffs are 93%, and they lost Max Fried. They lost Max Fried and Charlie Morton. And they're at 93% at a much lower rate. They didn't even go over any of the taxes. So who built the team better and more efficiently in terms of payroll?